Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I've got an interesting game for you guys that shows that not every game has a carrier in it and it can turn into some interesting situations. I'm going to try to do my best to call out some of the things that I see that could potentially have changed the outcome of this game for you guys. So let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about this game. It's going to be a fun one for us. Despite everything that goes on, we are going to do everything that we can to try to flip the game in our favor. And I do want you guys to pay attention to what happens around the map. So first of all, we've got two destroyers spawning in the top right corner for our team. So they should hopefully control that side of the map. Now remember, there is no like plane spotting or anything like that. And one thing that I think a lot of people are discounting about this update is that fact. It allows you to move around the map so much more freely, especially for cruisers, which obviously we don't have a lot of in this one. The enemy has 3 of them, which should in theory give us the chance. But we have a gearing that's going to move straight into decap here and spot for the team. He's also going to get contested early. Now, given the fact we have a gearing, and the fact that there's no way for me to know where multiple destroyers are going to be, the good chance that I could come forward and help our gearing get rid of a destroyer early is just something that you have to recognize early. And this is one of the things that are actually going to cause some problems for our team very early on. I'm going to try to help this gearing. The gearing, to his credit, is going to try to do something. And unfortunately, he's just going to be countered hard. Because, unfortunately for the gearing, there are 2 destroyers here. One of them that spawned mid ends up coming over to support the gearing that ends up being over here. The reason I'm saying that now is because I want you guys to see the way this unfolds. Now, in my mind, what's going through my head right now is, okay, I'm going to push over to the left. I don't want to overcommit, but there is a destroyer clearly in Delta, right? There's a destroyer in D. But given that we have a gearing here, a gunboat destroyer, there's a good chance that our gunboat could easily win that fight, especially if I can get into a position to help him. So I'm going to commit, figuring that I've got some smoke screens and stuff, and oh my god, hello Mino. Alright, fair enough. And he goes dark. We're going to go ahead and throw that out there. If I had just been a little bit more patient, maybe we would have gotten a better shot here, been able to remove that Mino, but he was smoking up immediately, so I thought there was a good chance that we just flat out don't get that. We are going to be reloaded. We are using our first smoke here, which is not ideal. I probably didn't need to smoke there, but it was one of those situations where I thought I could move in, help our destroyer here. If I had held my smoke just a little bit longer, that Mino ends up smoking. But watch here. I'm going to request intelligence data, I believe, and he's going to do it. He's going to go forward, he's going to get the gearing spotted, and we're going to have to dodge torpedoes here. But we slapped the ever-living crap out of that gearing. And unfortunately for our gearing, he gets jumped by not only the gearing, but also the daring. So our ability to smack this guy means absolutely nothing. Now, our Alaska puts himself in a position where he is absolutely useless right now. He had his potential to go to the front side of that island, where he would have been able to, A, shoot at the Mino potentially, or B, be in a position to radar the destroyers and help get rid of them while he has assistance. Now, we slap the GK's superstructure there. We make a turn that isn't the best, but given what we're up against, pushing into 2 destroyers, a gross occur first, and a Mino, this is not an ideal scenario. So we have to commit to the turn early. We're going to take a beat down in the process, but if we can get it to turn off and start turning away from these guys, we've got a chance at, oh my god, the Mino makes a huge misplay. Maybe forgetting that he had it in quarter speed or something, but that is death for that Mino. I don't miss twice, alright? You got lucky the first time. You don't get away with it the second time, Mino. Especially from a Colombo. Now, obviously we're taking some damage. The Mino does manage to get some torpedoes away, which we're going to find out is going to be very, very bad for us if we don't get out of the way. Fortunately, our Yama here does make a turn to avoid pancaking us into the island, which is huge. We are going to rub him a little bit on the way by, but it doesn't affect us. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed that. We took a torpedo at like 0.03 seconds left of the immunity on our damage control. That was absurd. But right now, this Yama and I are in bad position because we are now being focused by 2 destroyers plus the gross inquisitors. The Alaska is going to commit to go forward, but only after I've committed to leaving. So now it's just going to come down to the Alaska and the battleship to finally do something. And I just fired my gun, so I can't help these guys at all with these destroyers after I did everything to help with the destroyer early. So it's going to come down to these two doing that. And then the Alaska does what can only be considered the unthinkable. He goes full committal on going after the destroyers, and I do get one shot out. Unfortunately, by the time I get the other shot, we end up hitting the island, so we're not able to finish off the gearing. But the Alaska goes full broadside to a known battleship to try to get rid of the destroyer. Okay, you can't do that. You've got to at least try to maintain some angle on the enemy battleship. Now, I understand trying to get rid of the destroyer, but in the end, it's not really going to matter if you're dead and you don't get rid of the destroyer, right? Like, that's the problem here. But meanwhile, I'm trying to keep the GK's attention. I am sailing flat broadside to him. I'm like, please, dear Lord, shoot me. But unfortunately, because I've committed to running, you know, getting some space between me and the bad guys, we are going to go down. Now, fortunately, the Alaska does get rid of the daring. Okay, between him and the Yama, they do manage to get rid of the daring. But look how much health he gave away to do so. Like, that is unbelievably obnoxious. To give up that much health to get rid of a destroyer is just not ideal. Now, I take a shot here at the gearing once again. I've been the only one to do damage to him up to this point, but the Alaska does manage to get one shot into the gearing, and the Alaska is now going to burn to death to the gearing. But, again, if he had stayed somewhat angled, I think he has a better chance to help get rid of the destroyers, plus not lose all of his hit points to that GK. I understand committing to go after the destroyers there, but again, if he had put himself on the right side of the island where he was initially, he came from the middle of the map, right? Instead of going all the way around the island there, if he just kind of settles between the islands right next to the big island, right here in this gap, that Alaska would have been able to, A, easily counter the destroyers while he had help from me and the gearing, and B, he would have been in a position to not be compromised versus the GK. Nice work. However, now what you're probably noticing is that I'm flowing back across the map. The Yama there, we've already seen both teams just get absolutely annihilated in the opening few minutes. And that's kind of the way this map tends to play out. It's one team commits to a push early, and that almost inevitably ends in their immediate removal. This map is very unforgiving when it comes to committing to pushes. We saw it with me on the left side. We saw it with our team on the right. Our team on the right got absolutely annihilated despite having a 2-destroyer advantage on that side of the map. Now here, we've flown back across the map. We've gotten into position. We've got 2 people pushing into the Alpha Cap on that side. So now it's my job to try to help this Yama by helping to counter the GK that's in the middle and the GK that's on the left. Now, a Yama should be able to handle a GK for the most part if he doesn't play like an idiot. He went into the cap, he ends up getting out of the cap, which is not ideal, but I'm sure he got shot by the GK in the middle. So right now my goal is to dodge torpedoes and try to affect the match as much as we can. Now we do have the smokes available, and this is one of the beautiful things about the Colombo. Not only do we have the smokes available, but we also have the ability to have those 360-degree turrets. Now unfortunately I fired this one a little bit late, which was not ideal. By the time we fire him, the guy's not locked up, so we end up missing and we get detected, and he gets the chance to smash us as we're broadside. This is terrible play by me. Okay, that's just bad timing, bad everything. However, I'm not just playing against the battleships here. I'm trying to counter the destroyer. We know the gearing's nearby. We know he's low health. He's being too cocky, in my opinion, this gearing. But Yama has done a great job of getting back into the cap, recognizing that their team has kind of backed off, so he can get that match. Now, this gearing puts himself in a position not paying attention to the fact that I'm still here. You just shot at me 2 seconds ago. What do you think you're doing? And we take him out, which is huge for the team. Now, we don't have the points lead, but we are about to have the cap control. And what do we talk about all the time, folks? Capping wins games, right? And despite our flowing back across the map, we have managed to put ourselves in position to stay relevant and help the team because we are creating those crossfires. We're keeping the enemy in positions where they just can't get rid of us, right? The Colombo is tanky. It has the ability to slap people. As long as we're in position to take advantage of it and continue to pump out damage, we're not exactly putting ourselves out of position, right? It's just creating those crossfires, trying to help our team where we can. And the Yama does manage to get the cap, which is huge. Our main is over on the right side. He's trying to cap. Unfortunately, we did lose our Stalingrad, which is hugely disappointing. If we manage to keep that Stalingrad alive, we've got the radars there to help counter the Shima that's left. The main, unfortunately, is flooding or on fire or something right now. But he's got some damage over time going. But he does get the cap, which is huge. Again, now all we got to do is hold it. Now, that's easier said than done when there's a Shima over here with a high caliber, which tells me that this guy is absolutely flooding, which is unfortunate. But again, when you're in a giant battleship like the Maine or a Colombo or something like that, and you're dealing with a 1v1 versus a Shima, it is very difficult for that Shima to be stupid enough to not take advantage of that, right? But at this point, all he's got to do is survive, right? He just has to try to survive. I'm trying to do everything in my power to give our team the advantage here. If we can take down one of these GKs, that would allow me and the Yama to push out. But the problem is the Yama decides to push a little bit too far here. And fortunately, it actually works out in our favor. Yama pushing out allows him to get away from the GK that actually wraps back around the island. That GK going back around that island was a crazy thought. I don't know why he did it, but he did. But we're going to be trying to continue to take advantage of the broadside that we are given of this GK, who's given up a lot of damage to us. We try to stay angled, lose as little hit points as possible. The GK comes around behind the Yama, which is never an ideal scenario. The Yama's taken a huge amount of damage here. If I had known that this Yama was going to be able to get this this ram off, you can see I am taking full advantage of this GK right now. We've got the smoke. Obviously, I know I'm going to get detected here, but the smoke allows me to get this huge hit off, which is going to be devastating for the enemy. We get angled again. He shoots us rather than shooting the Yama. The Yama is getting closer and closer to being able to take out the Kerr first, and at this point I'm thinking, oh my god, he's going to be able to ram him, which he does, in fact, actually get to ram him. We are turning to try to get our shot. GK tries to dodge but is failing, but unfortunately we get bitten by the spotting. Remember, once our Yama goes down, we no longer have spotting, so that allows this GK to get this cap because I can't make the smoke dissipate quick enough, right? I wish that I could have gotten the smoke to go away here, but unfortunately, the smoke is what ends up allowing this guy to get the cap just in time. We shoot, just trying to hurry a shot to get the reset, and unfortunately don't manage to get the reset in time. Our main goes down, and unfortunately that is going to be the end of this. But if you guys go back to what we were talking about, when it came down to the beginning of this match, losing the 2 destroyers on the right side of the match to whatever happened over there, I didn't get a chance to see. But what happened on our side of the map could have been much, much better had that Alaska positioned himself better at the beginning. Instead of flowing all the way around the island to where the 2 people that spawned on the left side, me and the Yamato, were, he could have easily just sat in that gap and then been a much more effective Alaska and probably ended up surviving plus countering the destroyers, which would have guaranteed us the win in this game. But unfortunately, right now it's us versus this guy, and even if we win this fight, it's not going to give us the points lead that we need to win. And the Shima's already grabbing the Alpha Cap to guarantee the win over there, and all he has to do is run away, and he wins. But we do manage to survive initially. He does break one of our turrets, which is unfortunate as we go for the drive-by, because you can see the amount of damage we just put on that man was pretty substantial, but not quite enough to finish him off. And as we complete the drive-by, of course, we're just going to sail off straight to make sure that he doesn't get those rear turrets around at a favorable angle to punch us. He does get the double fires though, and I mean, this is just the difference between having secondaries that are capable of doing damage over time versus secondaries that are firing into the belt and doing no damage. And that's the SAP secondaries for us. But still, 203,000 damage. We kept ourselves in a position to where we were still useful, top of the leaderboard, just missing out on 2,000 base XP and a loss. But I got to give the Yamato some credit there. And Alaska, I understand what he went for, but the Alaska ending up losing all of his hit points there, I think he could have just played a little bit better and we would have probably won this match. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.